गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रजदन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रजदन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे मुरलीधर राम राधा रमण राधा राधा माधव राधा विनोद राधा कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय वृंदावन धाम जय वृंदावन धाम जय वृंदावन गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय पंचतत्वा जय पंचतत्वा जय प्रभुपा जय प्रभुपा जय गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव जमष्पाद परम सुप्रकाश स्तोत्र सदा सभा चरण भक्ति श्याम श्री प्रपाद महाराज की जय। इस्कॉन संस्थापक आचार्य श्री प्रपाद महाराज की जय। जगत गुरु श्री प्रपाद महाराज की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परम सुप्रकाश स्तोत्र सदा भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नमाचार्य श्री हरदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय। नागपुर नवदीप धाम की जय। जगन्नाथपुरी द्वारका धाम की जय। गंगे मैम नमाय की जय। तुलसी भक्ति देव की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ग्रंथ श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। हरिनाम संकीर्तन के श्लोक की जय। All glories to assemble it. All glories to assemble it. All glories to assemble it. All glories Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bo. Hare Krishna. So welcome to all devotees for today's Nityam Bhagavata Sevya. Yeah. Daily study of Shrimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna. Yes, I think I have switched off the video camera because I think it might have some issue on
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, there was a disturbance. Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Now it's okay, Prabhu.
Yes, fine. Thank you. So we'll be taking today's shloka will be 4th canto, 9th chapter, in the 5th verse, 5 to 7. Yeah, this is the shloka. Yeah. Savai tadeva pratipaditam giram daivim parignata paramatma nirnayaha tam bhakti bhavo abhyagrunad asat varam parishru toru shavasam dhruva kshitihi savai tadeva pratipaditam giram daivim parignata paratma nirnayaha tam bhakti bhavo abhyagrunad asatvaram parishrutoru shavasam dhruvakshitihi savai tadeva pratipaditam giram daivim parignata paratma nirnayaha tam bhakti bhavo abhyagrunad asatvaram parishrutoru shavasam dhruvakshitihi. Word by word meaning, translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Saha Dhruva Maharaj, why certainly, tada, at that time, eva, just, pratipaditam, having attained, giram, speech, daivim, transcendental, parignata, understood, paratma, of the supreme soul, nirnayaha, the conclusion, tam, to the Lord, bhakti bhavaha, situated in devotional service, abhyagnath, offered prayers, asatvaram, without any hasty conclusion, parishruta, widely known, Uru Shavasam, whose fame, Dhruva Kshitihi, Dhruva, whose planet would be not be annihilated. Translation. At that time, Dhruva Maharaj became perfectly aware of the Vedic conclusion and understood the absolute truth and his relationship in accordance with the line of devotional service to the Supreme Lord, whose fame is widespread. Dhruva, who in the future would receive a planet which would never be annihilated, even during the time of dissolution, offered his deliberate and conclusive prayers. Hare Krishna. So devotees can read the purport.
Hare Krishna. Vasudha Mataji, you can read the translation. Archana Mataji can read the purport.
Hare Krishna. Mataji, a purport Prabhuji asked me to read. Prabhuji read translation. Just I want.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji, sorry. The purport you can read, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yeah.
Purport Srila Prabhupada ki jai. There are many important items to be considered in this verse. First of all, the relationship between the absolute truth and the relative material and spiritual energies is here understood by a student who has complete knowledge of Vedic literature. Dhruva Maharaj never went to any school or academic teacher to learn the Vedic conclusion. But because of his devotional service to the Lord, as soon as the Lord appeared and touched his forehead with his conch shell, automatically the entire Vedic conclusion was revealed to him. This is the process of understanding Vedic literature. One cannot understand it simply by academic learning. The Vedas include that only to one who has unflinching faith in Supreme Lord, as well as as well as in the spiritual master is the Vedic conclusion revealed. That's all. The example of
Hare
Dhruva
Krishna
Maharaj
Mataji.
is that he engaged himself in devotional service to the Lord according to the order of his spiritual master, Narada Muni. As a result of his rendering such devotional service with great determination and austerity, the personality of Godhead personally manifested himself before him. Dhruva was only a child. He wanted to offer nice prayers to the Lord, but because he lacked sufficient knowledge, he hesitated. But by the mercy of the Lord, as soon as the Lord's conscience touched his forehead, he became completely aware of the Vedic conclusion. That conclusion is based on proper understanding of the difference between Jiva and Paramatma, the individual soul and the super soul. The individual soul is forever a servant of the Supreme Soul, and therefore his relationship with the Super Soul is to offer service. This is called Bhakti Yoga or this is called Bhakti Yoga or Bhakti Bhava. Dhruva Maharaj offered his prayers to the Lord not in the way of the impersonalist philosophers, but as a devotee. Therefore, it is clearly said here, Bhakti Bhava. The only prayers worth offering are those offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose reputation is spread far and wide. Dhruva Maharaj wanted to have the kingdom of his father, but his father refused even to allow him to get on his lap. In order to fulfill his desire, the Lord had already created a planet known as the pole star, Dhruvaloka, which was Mataji, you have to which was never to be annihilated even at the time of the dissolution of the universe. Dhruva Maharaj attained this perfection not by acting hastily, but by patiently executing the order of his spiritual master, and therefore he became so successful that he saw the Lord face to face. Now he was further enabled by the causeless mercy of the Lord to offer fitting prayers to the Lord. To glorify or offer prayers unto the Supreme, one needs the Lord's mercy. One cannot try to glorify the Lord unless one is endowed with his causeless mercy. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Om Gnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakya Chakshunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Hare Krishna. Now, as we see in this chapter and the previous chapter, we are discussing about the pastime of Dhruva Maharaj, and prior to that was the Daksha Prajapatis, and that was also a wonderful lesson learning for all the devotees. And now Dhruva Maharaj, the real bhakti or the real pure devotional service is being depicted here. So in the 8th chapter, the previous chapter, as we understand, that Dhruva Maharaj was insulted and he was advised by his mother to go to the forest and pray to the Supreme Lord. And he did exactly. And again, the mercy of the Lord, he got the spiritual master. And by the advice of spiritual master Narada Muni, he got into the details of what to do, because otherwise he was just a 5-year-old boy. He never knew what is to be done, how to pray, what is to be done, what is the meditation process. But everything was explained by the Guru, Narada Muni. And he exactly did the same thing. He went to that Madhuvan forest, which is one of the 12 forests in Vrindavan. Actually, even today, we can go there to that. Now, of course, it's not really a forest because a lot of inhabitation has happened. A lot of people have populated that area. And we can just see some little area which is with some forest trees and like that. But then it is also the most sacred place, because that is a place where Dhruva did the meditation, and he also had the Lord appeared in front of him. So there is a small hill, and the temple is also there. Even today we can witness that. And there continuous chanting of the holy names, recitation of the Shastras are being done by the sadhus and sannyasis there. So it is a very nice place. It's very close to Mathura actually. And then so these are all the true remains. What is there? What happened? See that, and also increase our faith that whatever is there in the Shastras literature is not just something which is somebody has written, or somebody Vedavyas has written, but no, it is actually the real fact that is being depicted here. And we can easily identify those places, the kind of aura, the kind of vibrations that gives us. It's very, very true. There is no ambiguity. People should not have, devotees should not have ambiguity. Yes, how did this happen? Because the way Dhruva Maharaj did for about 6 months penance, it is very, very unbelievable, the kind of penance he did. But it was during those days in the Satyuga, the beginning of the universe stage. These were not possible, and that is how we're getting that the same the level of mood of bhakti is being transmitted to us. So here, Dhruva Maharaj did that accordingly, whatever Narad Muni Guru said, and then Lord apparently came down. In fact, he had given the description of the Lord also, Narad Muni, and then he had the darshan. And while his darshan was happening, the demigods got little agitated, in the sense they were experienced kind of a breathing process, the choking of a breathing process. And then they approached the Lord. Then the Lord also said that, no, don't worry, I'm going there. I'll go to meet him, and I'll see him. I'll convince him. I'll ask him to stop the meditation, and that way, and I'll bless him like that. So on that basis, now we come to this ninth chapter, where as we understand that as he was meditating, Lord came, Lord appeared. It was like a brilliant light in front of Dhruva Maharaj. And here, as we see, that Dhruva did the meditation. He did the typical, Paramatma realization, where he did the meditation, deep meditation. He never did any, kind of a bhakti, the personal form, but the personal form was revealed to him by Narad Muni. So that is how he could meditate. So this we have to understand. He was not a typical yogi. He didn't do any typical yogi meditation, and then without knowing who the real Lord is. He knew the Lord. He had the complete dimensions of the Lord and the glories of the Lord, and then he meditated on that. So that is the difference in today's or in today's context, that many people think that, oh, by meditation we can attain Lord, but they should also know on whom they are meditating. That is very important. If they meditate on some other demigods or some other personalities, they may not get the desired result. So they should exactly know to whom they are going to meditate. And in this case, he meditated with Vishnu, Krishna himself, and that is how he could get the desired result. So here, as of the moment he saw that Lord is in front of him, he paid obeisances, and then he made a Dandvat Pranam. And in ecstasy, he looked. It says that he was looking at the Lord's eyes. He was drinking the Lord with his eyes, and kissing the lotus feet of the Lord with his mouth, and embracing the Lord with his arms. So this is a small boy, out of so much of ecstasy and so much of happiness, he did this. And then Lord also reciprocated. Although the fourth shloka says that he didn't know what to do. He was completely dumbfounded of having had the darshan of the Lord. He was inexperienced. He did not know. Even to offer a prayer, he did not know. But now Lord reciprocated. He understood what is in the heart. So dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayantite, as Bhagavad Gita says, Satatam kirtantamam yatante drudavataha. So the Lord will give the intelligence. So Lord gave that intelligence, and Lord blessed him by touching Dhruva's forehead with his conch shell. And the moment the Lord's conch touched his forehead, immediately his whole body completely got rejuvenated. I mean, it was completely filled with the spiritual energy, and because the Lord and his Lord's whatever his tadiya or Lord's equipments or Lord's instruments, whatever he is using, it could be his cloth, it could be his Shankha Chakra Gada Padma, whatever he's carrying, any one of them, whatever is related to the Lord, is equally potent, is equally spiritually endowed. So that we cannot think that the conch shell is something which is related to the matter. How can matter have a spiritual? But that is the understanding, that is the beauty, that in the spiritual world, even the inanimate things like rock, it could be the sand, it could be the any of these instruments, any of these things, everything will be in the spiritual form. They also have a life compared to our material world, where there is a distinction between the material jada and the living, the jada and the living entities. So here in this when Lord came, the conscious also was completely empowered, the spiritual energy, and the touch of it on the Dhruva Maharaj enlivened. So that is how we come to this shloka, where it is said that the time Dhruva Maharaj became perfectly aware of the Vedic conclusion and understood the absolute truth and his relationship with all living entities, in accordance with the line of devotional service of Supreme Lord, whose fame is widespread, Dhruva, who in the future would receive a planet which would never be annihilated, even during the time of dissolution, offered his deliberate and conclusive prayers. So everything, all his faculties were rejuvenated, and immediately he could come to that. He was receiving that divine knowledge, and immediately he could offer his prayers. Further, we see that he offering his prayers and interacting with the Lord. So that is the magnanimity of the Lord. An ordinary person, ordinary soul, he cannot even withstand. Nobody can understand the potency of the Lord. It's so much. He's like a ocean, and we are just like a drop in the ocean. So that is the beauty. But of course, by the mercy of the Lord, this disparity, whatever is there, even though it appears so vast, but this disparity can be reduced, or it can be mitigated by the mercy of the Lord, and then the entity can get that real understanding, and he can interact or offer his prayers with the Lord and do his devotional service. So like this, as Prabhupada also says, that first of all, the relationship between the absolute truth and relative material and spiritual energies is here understood by a student who has complete knowledge of the Vedic literature. Dhruva Maharaj never went to any school or academic teacher to learn the Vedic conclusion, but because of his devotional service to the Lord, as soon as the Lord appeared and touched his forehead with the conch shell, automatically the entire Vedic conclusion was revealed to him. So this is the clear understanding that how much guru is required. The guru's presence and the guru's mercy is required. That's why it is called in the Vedic scriptures, in the Shastras, that whenever a guru and Shishya relationship is established, that is the Sambandha Gnana is established, it is considered as a causeless mercy. So, I mean, this is ahaituki. The mercy is coming without a cause. Actually, it defeats our logic. When mercy has to come, there has to be some reciprocation. I mean, something you have done some good to another person, only then you can receive, right? I mean, this is the quid pro quo arrangement. That is, you do something good, you will get back good. But here, the mercy is with the guru is considered causeless, without any cause. So how is it possible without any cause? How can anybody give you mercy? Of course, that is the what the mystic power of this bhakti yoga, and we can understand that further by how Prabhupada, when he went to the America, So when he went to the Tompkins Square Park, he was just going there every day in the evening and then doing the Hare Krishna chanting. And then just the passerbys were going by, and one of two got fascinated by that, and then they came out of curiosity. So amongst them, the two boys were, one was Bruce, and another Bruce who became Brahmananda, and another was Achyutananda. I think his Chuck, I think Chuck, his name. So these two boys were the first two boys who were just youth, who were in their youth, got attracted to Prabhupada, and they came to him, and they got the mercy. Later on, two became sannyasis. One went to Africa, and one came to India, so for preaching. So that is the mercy. How the transformation took place. It is something unbelievable. So, but the guru, a pure guru who has got the power, who has come. Actually, Prabhupada had come directly from the spiritual world. Otherwise, we cannot expect anything like this super natural or extraordinary things to happen. So by the touch and the grace of Guru, they got the mercy. Now the question comes: why did only those two get the mercy? What did they do? Had they done any previous seva to the Guru, or had they done any study of the Shastras? Had they done any bhakti practice? Where they are already accumulated, and they had something to be completed in this birth. All these questions arise. So how did they get? So that way we can understand that this loss of the karma is something which is completely inconceivable. We cannot estimate. We cannot understand how this happens. But at the end of the day, so even when somebody has to come to the bhakti platform, like those two boys, the most important thing what Acharya say is that the living entity, the soul, should also have the inclination. They should also have the desire to serve, to take up a spiritual practice, to accept or develop that faith and accept what is the Shastra and what is the Guru. Unless they come to that platform, that means ultimately it is a surrender, the Sharanagati. The Sharanagati is not there, they cannot translate that. I mean, because thousands and thousands, lakhs and lakhs of people might have witnessed Prabhupada. They would have had the association of Prabhupada. They would have met him. They would have discussed with him. But he didn't get converted. How many people took to initiation from Prabhupada in India when he was there? He was struggling in India for about so many years. But nobody came except for one Acharya Prabhakar in Jhansi. Initially, nobody came. After he went to America, and then this miracles started happening in the 26th Avenue. Then people started accepting, and by looking at, by seeing the devotees, the foreigner devotees, the Indian devotees or other nationalities got attracted, and they got converted, and they took to the spiritual practice. So like this, like it was a magnetic effect. All iron getting converted just by the touch of a magnet. So this is the thing. So that's why Vedas say, most important, Prabhupada also has mentioned in the last sentence in this paragraph, the Vedas indicate that only one who has unflinching faith in the Supreme Lord. That is in the first para itself, the last sentence. Who was the one who has unflinching faith in the Supreme Lord as well as in the Supreme Master. Unto him all the Vedic conclusions will be revealed. So that is the fact. Yasya deve parabhakti yatha deve tatha guru tasyeti katita hi artha prakashante mahatmana. Shvetashvatara Upanishad, Prabhupada has quoted. Of course, it's not mentioned here, but he's given the conclusion here, the meaning of that shloka, that yasya deve parabhaktir, like how unto the Lord, Supreme Lord, you are doing your bhakti, transcendental parabhakti, and the same fashion you have to treat the Guru also. So you have to do it in the same fashion. Of course, it does not mean that Lord and Guru are the same or are at the same platform. No, what it means is that the Guru is the representative of the Lord. So in the same bhava you should have, and then you should worship your Guru. He's like a in the glass we see the Lord is there, and then in the glass, the shadow which appears on the glass, like that, is just a representative of the Lord. And if one has that and that much faith, if he has in the Guru, similarly how he has with the Lord, only then the Guru will reveal that to the knowledge will be revealed to the disciple. So that is what is the conclusion which is mentioned by Prabhupada also. And then further, Prabhupada mentions that how Dhruva, with great determination and exactly what the spiritual master ordered, he took it in the most positive way, and then he performed that activity. Only with that he got the complete benefit. The conclusion is based on proper understanding of the difference between Jiva and Paramatma, the individual soul and the super soul. The individual soul is forever a servant of the super soul, and therefore his relationship with the super soul is to offer service. So this is, Prabhupada is explaining very clearly, what is that? That is called Bhakti Yoga, Bhakti Bhava. That the moment you accept that relationship, once the Sambandha Gnana is established, then what you are supposed to do is the Abhidheya Jnana. The Abhidheya means you have to follow the rules and regulations, you have to follow the instructions of the Lord and of the Guru or whatever the Sampradaya, and do it in the Dasya Bhava as a servant. So that is most important. That is the execution of the service. If no service is there, then you cannot progress. Without service, without rendering any seva, nobody will acknowledge it in the material world also. So what to speak in the spiritual world? So first you have to become that servant. That is the Dasya Bhava. And once you start doing the service, then the reciprocation will start. Then there will be progress, and the Lord also will bestow mercy. So that is what is called as a Bhakti Yoga. And as we see further in the rasas also, the primary rasas, the Shanta Rasa, Dasya Rasa, Sakya Rasa, Vatsalya Rasa, and Madhurya Rasa. So Madhurya Rasa, which is the conjugal love, is the highest. But at least we have to start from the Dasya. That is the that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Jiver Swarup Nitya Krishnera Das. So that should be our mood, and render the service, chanting of the holy names, attending temple programs, and interacting with the devotees, serving the devotees, serving the Shastras. So all these things will matter. Once we start doing that, then automatically we come to the platform of Bhakti. So this way, therefore, it is clearly said here, Bhakti Bhava. The only prayers worth offering are those offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose reputation is far and wide. That is his, among the 6 opulences of the Lord, one is the reputation or the fame. Lord has the unlimited fame, and that fame is something which can never deteriorate. So that is one of the opulence, and that is what we are supposed to do. So although Dhruva wanted to have came with a material desire, but his material desire was converted into a spiritual desire, and then he wanted a kingdom, material kingdom in the material world. He wanted a kingdom, then wanted to rule for several thousand years. But Lord was so compassionate; He gave him a Dhruvaloka, the pole star, which is actually the North Pole, which is called the North Pole, and this can never get annihilated. It never get in the Pralaya also. It can never get dissoluted, and it will remain forever as long as this universe is there. In the entire 14 planetary systems of ours, including the sun, moon, everything is depends in order to see the directions, in order to see that their gravity forces, everything is moving in order, the planetary systems. North Pole has a very great significance. So North Pole is always stationary. All other planets and all other grahas or stars will be moving, whereas Dhruva got that benediction. And all that because as Prabhupada says, Dhruva Maharaj attained this perfection not by acting hastily, but by patiently executing the order of his spiritual master. And therefore, he became so successful that he saw the Lord face to face. Now he further enabled by again, Prabhupada gives this word, causeless mercy of the Lord, to offer fitting prayers to the Lord, to glorify or offer prayers unto Supreme. One needs the Lord's mercy. one cannot write to glorify the Lord unless one is endowed with this causeless mercy. So Prabhupada is explaining this causeless mercy. Of course, it is very difficult for us to understand how this causeless mercy comes. But again, as that's what, as bhakti is people say, in order to become a devotee, you should have sukruti, you should have done past pious deeds, and there should be some a faith, which is in inherent faith. All these things are there, but what matters, as we understand bhakti, is that at this present moment, what you have done, how you're reacting, that also depends. You may have sukriti, you may have the faith, everything may be there, everything will be favorable. But if you're not accepting that guru, if you're not in that mood of surrender, then the thing will become useless. That's maybe such sukriti will help some other day, or the whatever pious acts will help some other day. But what is important at the present, you have to take your decision. If you don't take your decision at the present in this lifetime, then probably you'll have to wait for so many millions of thousands of birth. So that is what it is very important, that one who accepts, who has unflinching faith with that personality will get the mercy. And that is again called in the spiritual language as a causeless mercy. Hare Krishna. So in this causeless mercy, and when we're talking of the conch shell, so there is one pastime which comes in the life of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Raja Prataparudra. So Prataparudra, as we know, he was the ruling king in Puri, and then he wanted to have darshan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had just started the Sankirtan movement. He had gone to the South India, all the yatra had finished, and he had come, and his names and glories were getting far spread, while devotees were so much, they were attached to the holy name and to the Lord himself. But he, being a king, and being a materialistic person, he was not allowed darshan of Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu never wanted to meet him, because he said that, oh, he's a man of worldly affairs, is a passionate person, why he should have association, I'm a sannyasi. So like that he started, he was always rejecting. So of course this is one of the traits of a real sannyasi, of a true renunciate, that he doesn't want to get sangha of the common people, or even the worldly materialistic people. But of course, what Lord wanted to, by doing that, Lord wanted to spread the message, or send a message, that how much a renunciate should be disassociated. So now the question comes, if the sannyasis don't get association of the people, then how he can deliver the people, how he can give mercy to the people. But of course, in this pastime, we can, as we understand, that Lord only wanted to test the patience of the devotee, the real bhakti of a devotee. So in that way, so much of there were demands by our Sarvabhauma Prabhu. Sarvabhauma Prabhu was the official priest of the Puri king. He was requesting, Nityananda Prabhu was requesting, and then Ramadas, even many of the other devotees, Ramananda Rai was requesting. No, but Lord had never relented. He said, no, I'm not going to have. Then finally, out of compassion, it was suggested that the king's son, let him come and have darshan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So like that, just Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave that one little sanction, because he thought the child will not have much worldly affairs knowledge. He's not so contaminated. He can come, he can have darshan. So he allowed, and the child came. And the moment the child came and he saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he danced in glory. And then he saw Krishna himself, and he got the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what he did, after giving darshan, he see how the causeless mercy comes. What he did, Mahaprabhu gave his uttariya to the boy, and then said that, you please give it to your father. So he didn't say that, oh, father can come now and he can have darshan. So how the Lord is just stages and stages, he's giving the mercy. So then everybody were thinking that, oh, now the boy is accepted, the prince is accepted, maybe the father also will get the darshan of the Lord. He will call him, but he never did that. He waited for some more time. and he just gave the uttariya and said that you can take it. So that uttariya is called the tadiya. That is one of the things which is used by the Lord. So that is also equally respectable, equally worshipable, like the Lord, like how the conch shell and the Lord. So he took it, and then the moment Prataprudra got to receive the uttariya of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he fell into ecstasy, and then he also hugged the boy, because you had the mercy by the Lord. You are so fortunate. And then he started praising. So like this, it was in stages, but still the curiosity was still there with the king. When I'm going to have darshan, when I'm going to have personal association with Lord. So again he was requesting. So Lord was testing every now and then, and when it reached the final pinnacle, that time he said that, okay, Ramananda Rai told Raja Prataprudra, now this is the it's the Rath Yatra time, and after Rath Yatra, after dancing heavily on this day, Lord will go and take rest in the in one of the parks there, garden. So you can go there, and then you go in a Vaishnava dress, and then you please sing Gopi Geet. Gopi Geet from the 10th canto, the Gopi's prayers, and start, you can serve him by massaging his feet, and slowly serve him like this, and definitely you'll get his mercy. So the same thing Prataprudra did, and ultimately the Chaitanya Prabhu, while he was taking rest, and after he heard the Gopi Geet, he completely was fascinated. He was completely attracted to that, and then he understood the pure hankering, the real love, devotion of Prataprudra, and then he gave him the access that he can do the seva of doing the pada seva, and then ultimately he understood that it is the king himself who has come, and then he wants to get my mercy, he wants to become my devotee, and then he gave him the mercy, and then he embraced. So this is the example where we can understand how bhakti can convert the desire to serve, the unflinching faith. All these things are prerequisites. Then it will actually get the attention of the Lord. Hare Krishna. So we'll go to the sixth shloka. Devotee can read the shloka and translation purport.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Archana Mataji, you can read the shloka. Sarika Mataji, you can read the translation. Chandana Mataji, you can read the purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Pranam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Dhruva uvacha yonda pravishya namavajamimam prasoptam sanjevayatya saktidhara svadhamna anyansha hastacharana shravanachod svagade pranan namo bhagavade purushaya tubhyam. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Translation.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Dhruva Maharaj said, "My dear Lord, you are all-powerful. After entering within me, you have enlivened all my sleeping senses, my hands, legs, ears, touch sensation, life force, and especially my power of speech. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you." Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranams.
Yeah, that's right.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Dhruv Maharaj could understand very easily the difference between his condition before and after attaining spiritual realization and seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. He could understand that his life force and activities had been sleeping. Unless one comes to the spiritual platform, his bodily limbs, mind, and other facilities within the body are understood to be sleeping. Unless one is spiritually situated, all his activities are taken as dead man's activities or ghostly activities. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura has composed a song in which he addressed himself, "O living entity, get up. How long shall you sleep on the lap of Maya?" Now you have the opportunity of possessing a human form of body. Now try to get up and realize yourself. The Vedas also declare, get up, get up. You have the opportunity, the boon of the human form of life. Now realize yourself. These are the Vedic injunctions. Dhruv Maharaj actually experienced that Upon enlightenment of his senses on the spiritual platform, he could understand the essence of Vedic instruction that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Supreme Person. He is not impersonal. Dhruv Maharaja could immediately understand this fact. He was aware that for a very long time he was practically sleeping, and he felt the impetus to glorify the Lord according to the Vedic conclusion. A mundane person can offer any prayer or glorify the Supreme
Cannot offer.
Personality of Godhead. A mundane person cannot offer any prayer or glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead because he has no realization of the Vedic conclusion. When Dhruv Maharaj therefore found this difference within himself, he could immediately understand that it was because of the causeless mercy of the Lord. He offered obeisances to the Lord with great respect and reverence, completely understanding that the Lord's favor was upon him. This spiritual enlivenment of Dhruva Maharaja's senses and mind was due to the action of the internal potency of the Lord. In this verse, therefore, the word Swadhamna means by spiritual energy. Spiritual enlightenment is possible by the mercy of the spiritual energy of the Lord. The chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is first addressed to the spiritual energy of the Lord, Hare. This spiritual energy acts when a living entity fully surrenders and accepts his position as an eternal servitor. When a person places himself at the disposal or order of the Supreme Lord, that is called Sevon Mukha, at that time the spiritual energy gradually reveals the Lord to him. Without revelation by the spiritual energy, one is unable to offer prayers glorifying the Lord. Any amount of philosophical speculations or poetic expression by mundane persons is still considered to be the action and reaction of the material energy. When one is actually enlivened by the spiritual energy, all his senses become purified, and he engages only in the service of the Lord. At that time, his hands, legs, ears, tongues, mind, genitals, everything engage in the service of the Lord. Such an enlightened devotee no longer has any material activities, nor has he any interest in being materially engaged. This process of purifying the senses and engaging them in the service of the Lord is known as bhakti or devotional service. In the beginning, the senses are engaged by the direction of by the spiritual master and shastra, and after realization, when the same senses are purified, the engagement continues. The difference is that in the beginning, the senses are engaged in mechanical way, but after realization, they are engaged in spiritual understanding. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
So again, one of the most significant purports Prabhupada has given in such a detailed manner, and it's so fantastic to read. It actually gives the real essence of what is Bhakti Yoga. So it's a very wonderful purport by Prabhupada. And as we are discussing about Dhruva Maharaj, how his entire, all his organs got enlivened, rejuvenated by the touch of the Lord, especially the power of speech. So now he is telling, let me offer my obeisances. So here, as Prabhupada says, that the moment he saw face to face and he got the mercy, that entire life force, which was actually sleeping, so he became enlivened. So in the Shastras, it is the stage. It is mentioned as where there are 4 stages basically of consciousness. What is that? The first stage is the Jagriti. That is the state of awakening, us waking. We are already in a woken stage, which is the Jagriti. Then there is the Swapna, which is the dreaming stage, and then the Sushupti, which is the deep sleep. So these are the 3 stages. So in the Jagriti stage, we are still in the material senses. We are using the material senses and we are actually interacting, which is still not a perfect consciousness. It is not still a perfect Krishna consciousness. In the Swapna, again, it is loitering between the awakening and the sleep, not full sleep, but it is in between. So it is roaming in the consciousness. So in that roaming stage, we actually get the dreams. Then the Sushupti. Sushupti is the where it is actually in the deep sleep. So like this, these are the three stages. But there is a fourth also consciousness, the order or the fourth stage, which is the turiya. Turiya is the stage where it is in the transcendental consciousness. It is neither outward nor inward. At the same time, it is both inward and outward. So this stage, the turiya, is the highest stage of consciousness. This is what we have to reach, and that is actually the devotional, when we are in the bhakti bhava or in the devotional service. So these are the four which even Prabhupada is also mentioning that, and also he says that Prabhupada, the Dhruva also knew that he was in this earlier stage of the Jagrati, and now he is getting awakened. As he says, as Prabhupada says that, body are understood to be sleeping. Unless one is spiritually situated, all his activities are taken as a dead man's activities or ghostly activities. Srila Bhakti, Thakur has compared a song. So this is the song, the "Oh living entity, get up. How long shall you sleep in the lap of Maya?" So that is the song. Jiva jago, Gaura Chandra bole. Kotha nidra jao Maya, Pishachera kole. भजीबो बोलिया ऐसे संसार भीतरे भूलिया रोहिले तुमी अविद्यारा भारे. So like this, he says, and then enachi, the third stanza, third line is tomare loito ami hoinu avatara ami bina bandhu arake ache tomara enachi aushadi mara maya nashibaro lagi harinama mahamantra lao tumi magi bhakti vinoda prabhu charane pariya say harinama mantra loilo magya. So he's telling, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written this prayer, the song, and then he's telling that you have forgotten the way of devotional life, and you are lost in this world of birth and death. And I have decided to save you, because beyond me there is no friend in this world. I have brought this medicine, Eniyachi Aushadi, Maya Nashibaro Lagi, to wipe out the disease of illusion. And take this Mahamantra, Harinama Mahamantra, Lao Tumi Magi. Please chant this. I have brought this mantra. So that is the medicine. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, I fall at the Lord's lotus feet. I have taken this mantra. So like this is given a wonderful prayer. Jiva Jago, Gaura Chandra Bole. Actually, Mahaprabhu came to awaken all of us from this slumber. We are on this slumber, in the sleeping stage. And then he is telling that if you are in the lap of Maya, if you are sleeping, it's a witch called Maya. So it's a very dangerous situation. And which are, if you are haunted by a ghost, that means you are neither here nor there. So like that, he's comparing very dangerous situation. Now you please take up this Harinam mantra and then get liberated. So like that, Prabhupada gives that. And then he's also explaining how Dhruva Maharaj actually experienced that enlightenment, how actually this happened. Earlier, as we were discussing, Dhruva Maharaj was in the Paramatma realization. He was just meditating. He never he never had the desire to worship Lord in his personal form. But Lord gave him the facility. Lord gave him because Lord personally came and he showed his form, opulence, and that is how he got attracted, and he came out from that Paramatma realization to the Bhagavan realization, and he started paying respects. And now he understood that yes, Lord, his personal form is the highest form, the Swadhamna. Swadhamna is that spiritual energy. That spiritual energy Lord gave. With that, it was possible that he got the spiritual enlightenment. So now, for us devotees, what is that? We need to get the spiritual energy in the form of Hare Krishna mantra, because that is also addressing the spiritual energy, as Prabhupada says, Hare. So that Hare, when we address, it is even the living entity can completely surrender. That spiritual energy acts when a living entity fully surrenders and accepts his position as an eternal servitor. When a person places himself at the disposal or order of the Supreme Lord, that is called Sevan Mukha. At the time, spiritual energy gradually reveals the Lord to him. And Rupa Goswami also in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu has given the shloka, Sevan Mukhe hi jihvado, Swayam eva spuratta deha. Ata Shri Krishna namadi nabhaved indriyai. na bhavet grahyam indriye sevonmukhe hi jihvado. So this is a very famous shloka. He is given Atha, if at all. Therefore, Sri Krishna Namadi is Krishna's name, form, qualities. If they are not, na bhaved grahyam indre, from our material senses, if you are not able to absorb it or understand it, what we have to do? Sevan mukhe hi jihvado. That we have to use our tongue in the service. Tongue one for glorifying the Lord by chanting the holy name, and take prasad. Swayam eva spuratyadaha. Automatically, your consciousness will get rejuvenated. It will get enlivened. So this is the, you don't have to do anything extra. Just you have to take prasadam and speak about the holy name, and chant the holy name, glorify the Lord. So this is what is required from our side. So like that, without revelation by the spiritual energy, one is unable to offer prayers glorifying the Lord. Any amount of philosophical speculation or poetic expression by mundane person is still not considered to be the action reaction of the material energy. So that's what again he says that anyabhilashita shunyam gnana karmadi anavartam anukulyena krishnanu shilanam bhaktir uttama. So that the uttama bhakti can happen when you actually when you are disregarding the, first of all, you are not having any material desires. You should disregard the gnana yoga or the yoga with this mystic yoga, but still simply anukulyena krishnanu sevanam, you with favorable mood, you have to render service to the Lord. Then that is called the highest platform of devotional service. So that's what Prabhupada finally he says, that this process of purifying the senses and engaging them in the service of the Lord is known as bhakti, as we discussed, sevan mukhe hi jihvado. So that is the understanding, that use your senses for the in the service of the Lord. Then automatically it becomes your devotional service. In the beginning, the senses are engaged by the direction of spiritual master and Shastra, and afterwards, when it gets purified, automatically the engagement continues. So initially it will be mechanical way, but later on you'll be doing with full consciousness, with full spiritual understanding. Hare Krishna. So we'll go to the 7th shloka.
Hare Krishna. Prashanti Mataji, you can read the shloka, Krishnamurti Prabhu translation, and I'll read the purport. Hare Krishna. Prashanti
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna Guruji.
Yes.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji. एकस्त्वमेव भगवन्निदात्मा शक्त्यया मायाख्यायोरुगुणया महदाद्यशेषम् सृष्टवानुविश्य पुरुषस्त दशद्रोणेषु गुणेषु नानेवादारुषु विभाव सुवत् विभावसि. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Danvat pranam.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, pranams Prabhuji.
Dhanavad.
Translation by A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada ki jai. My Lord, you are the Supreme One, but by your different energies, you appear differently in the spiritual and material worlds. You create the total energy of the material world by your external potency, and after creation, you enter within the material world as the super soul. You are the Supreme Person, and through the temporary modes of material nature, you create varieties of manifestation, just as fire entering into the wood of different shapes burns brilliantly in different varieties. Hare Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji, pranams Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Dhruva Maharaja realized that the Supreme Absolute Truth, the personality of Godhead, acts through his different energies, not that he becomes void or impersonal and thus becomes all-pervading. The Mayavadi philosopher thinks that the absolute truth being spread throughout the cosmic manifestation has no personal form. But here, Dhruva Maharaja, upon realization of the Vedic conclusion, says you are spread all over the cosmic manifestation by your energy. This energy is basically spiritual, but because it acts in the material world temporarily, it is called Maya or illusory energy. In other words, for everyone but the devotees, the Lord's energy acts as external energy. Dhruva Maharaja could understand this fact very nicely. And he could understand also that the energy and the energetic are one and the same. The energy cannot be separated from the energetic. The identity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the feature of Paramatma or Super Soul is admitted herein. His original spiritual energy enlivens the material energy, and thus the dead body appears to have life force. Voidist philosophers think that under certain material conditions, the symptoms of life occur in the material body. But the fact is that the material body cannot act on its own. Even a machine needs separate energy, electricity, steam, etc. It is stated in this verse that the material energy acts in varieties of material bodies, just as fire burns differently in different woods according to the size and quality of the wood. In the case of devotees, the same energy is transformed into spiritual energy. This is possible because the energy is originally spiritual, not material. As it is said, Vishnu Shakti Parabhak Prokta, the original energy inspires a devotee, and thus he engages all his bodily limbs in the service of the Lord. The same energy as external potency engages the ordinary non devotees in material activities for sense enjoyment. We should mark the difference between Maya and Swadharma. For devotees, the Swadharma acts, whereas in the case of non-devotees, the Maya energy acts. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Very good. Correct. So again, another wonderful purport by Prabhupada, very clearly explaining how these energies vary. And as Dhruva Maharaj is telling that you appear differently in spiritual and material worlds. You are the same energy, but you have two different roles to play. So how is that? You create the total energy of material world by your external potency, and again you enter into that in the material world as the super soul. So this is the glorification by Dhruva Maharaj, and as Prabhupada explains, that the entire energy, whatever is there, is actually spiritual. But in the material world, he actually is created the same. It's the same spiritual energy which is there. What we have to understand, but it doesn't act. It acts in a different way in the material world. That's all. In a temporary way, it acts, and that is called Maya, illusory energy. So otherwise, because in the illusory energy, it tends the living entity to enjoy for himself, to use his senses only for his own enjoyment, forgetting the Lord. So that is the problem. The moment that happens, you forget the Lord and you want to enjoy for your own satisfaction, it actually becomes the external energy of the Lord, and that is the Maya, and the entity will get caught. So this is the simple understanding of this, which Prabhupada has also mentioned here. So now since we are Tatastha Shakti, the marginal energy, we have to use our intelligence to be associated with the spiritual energy, and that way we can be saved from the onslaught of the Maya. So mentioned here, and as Prabhupada says that even a machine also needs energy. It has to be in the form of electricity, steam, and also even if a motor car has to drive, it may have the petrol, it may have the engine, everything may be there, but still a living entity, a person is required to drive the car. Otherwise, it is going to be matter. If a robot is there or a drone is there, it may appear that the drone is flying on its own. It's going to different places, clicking photos, or lightening up. So many things it might be doing. But what your layman has to understand is that there is somebody person behind operating in the remote, and then he is making that drone to move around. So ultimately we come to the conclusion that a living entity or a chetana or the spiritual energy is the driving force. It is not that a person having organs and everything is by the organs this is being happening. It's not just by the functioning of the organs. What is important is the functioning of the organs is actually endowed with the spiritual energy, which is the Atma. Without Atma, the matter becomes dead. So that is the final understanding. As it is said, Vishnu Shakti Paraprokta, the original energy inspires a devotee, and thus he engages all his bodily limbs in the service of the Lord. Hare Krishna. Yeah, so this will end today's session. If anyone has any realizations, any questions or anything, they can discuss about it.
Hare Krishna. Subbarao Prabhuji. Sorry, Prabhuji. Couldn't call out your name. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I have a doubt, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, how can one respect and not at the same time not disrespect the demigods, Prabhuji? Hare Krishna.
Respect and not disrespect. Yeah, see, once you are doing the when you're respecting, you're glorifying the demigods, or you're chanting their names, or singing the glories. So that is it. So I mean, they are actually trying to please the demigod, and I mean, disrespect is something which is opposite of it, correct? Which you are not doing it, correct?
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, shall I
So,
share what happened, Prabhuji, yesterday so that you will be able to understand? Like,
yeah.
actually, yesterday there was a Makara Jyoti. So, and at the same time, I was chanting. So, and there was a live going on, like Prabhuji, that for Makara Jyoti. So, they were all watching. So, what I
Yeah.
was supposed to do, Prabhuji, like, should I get up from the
Yeah.
chanting of Hare
Yeah.
Krishna Mahamantra and attend to it and offer prostrations, or I should have continued chanting, or how I should go about? So that is why I asked you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Am I audible, Mataji? Hare Krishna.
Yeah,
Hello.
Mataji, you're audible.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranams, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Can you repeat the last part because it got lost?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Yesterday, as there was Makara Jyoti, they were
Yeah.
all watching a live, Prabhuji, that was going on
Yeah.
on TV.
Correct.
So at the same time, I was chanting. So if one has to respect demigod, what one should do? Like, should he get up from the chanting and go offer prostrations to the demigods? How exactly he should respect, and at the same time not disrespect? So how
No,
the
actually,
Supreme
here the
Personality
question
of Godhead?
comes. You're putting the posing in that way, but I am posing the question in this way. When you're chanting the holy name, and if you are watching something, or if you are
Yes,
trying to,
Prabhuji. I am
because your
not having
attention
that
is not
complete.
there.
Yes, Prabhuji. That is
Yeah,
one
if your
thing.
attention is not there on the holy name, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, actually
That
here
is
you are
the
disrespecting. So that is the problem.
yes,
Uh,
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
God may not feel offended because you're actually glorifying their supreme Lord. Huh? They may not get. Suppose you are in front of Shiva and you're chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. You're seeing a linga abhishekam is going on, but you're chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So actually, the demigods are actually happy. It's not, they don't they don't get insulted, they don't get offended that you're chanting Hare Krishna, because you're chanting the Lord, their Lord's name, correct, which is a higher position, correct.
Yes,
So
Prabhuji.
yeah, there is absolutely no issue, but to be on the safer side, or to just maintain the sanctity of the place, and other devotees who are actually Shiva bhaktas are there, the priests are there, it is good that we also recite some Rudrashtakam or Lingashtakam, or glorify the Shiva when you are in presence of a demigod. Similarly to any demigod, you may be in Ganesha temple, you may be for various reasons. So just glorify that deity who is there in front of you, or who you have gone for darshan, whichever demigod. So that is the safest method. But internally, you should offer all those prayers that they give you the Krishna Bhakti. You got it?
Yes.
Internally, you should offer that prayer to the demigod. I'm offering the prayer to you, I'm glorifying you, but my concern is that I need your mercy so that I can become a better Krishna devotee. Give the mercy. So because they are again, very since they are the authorized servants of the Lord, they can give quickly, they can give the mercy quickly, and they can make our advance progress. The demigods will not feel, oh, you're not offering it to me, you are not, they will not feel, they'll be in fact happy that you're offering my supreme lord's glories. And they will, even if you offer on your own, on your own volition to the demigods, they will not keep it to themselves. They will actually be happy, they'll be keeping, in the sense they'll be transferring it, that prayers, to the supreme lord Krishna itself. So that way the exchange happens. So this is how. So in the Makar Jyoti, yes, you're watching, but you don't know, there's no point in chanting and watching. I mean, unless your attention is on the holy name. Okay, for a few minutes, few seconds you can watch, because that's a miracle which is happening. That's a very divine moment. Yeah. And if your chanting has to be more focused, it is better that you sit in a separate place where it is not disturbing to them also, and to you also. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Actually,
Yeah.
I was very reluctant to even offer I mean, respects Prabhuji, because I have a reason to that, Prabhuji, because my father was a great, I mean, yeah, I can say that he was a devotee of Lord Ayappa. For 40 years, he went to Shabarimala, Prabhuji.
Correct, correct.
So after when he left this material body, when we do that, no Prabhuji, like we go to the astrologer and we will ask whether the soul is, I mean, is at peace or
Yeah.
not. So when we went for that, they said he has not attained moksha, so he is not happy. He's not so like that, because we were facing such I mean,
Yeah.
problems in our life, so we had to go to the astrologer and get it checked. So when we did that, so he said they said that Prabhuji, he's not satisfied. So I was
Yeah.
like, he worshipped for 40 years and he did such a nice austerities for 1.5 months and 40 days. So
Yeah.
what is the purpose of doing all that? So I was always like that. So why should I offer? Why should I offer? So you
Uh,
didn't do anything. You didn't help him at all. So, so
No,
I was
no, no,
thinking like
no,
that.
that's not no, that's not the understanding. You should not have that understanding. Whatever offers he has done, whatever his sadhana he has done, of course it will be accepted by the demigods also. Definitely they will be besides him because ultimately he is a devotee, right? Ayappa's devotee is your father, so definitely he will not neglect it, or they will not do anything. But the situation would have, we don't know at that time of death what is his mood, or what is his thinking, what prayers. So those things we don't know. Nothing is, it is something inconceivable. So the result may not be in front of you, but we cannot underestimate the potency of the demigod also. And he is being a devotee and you're offering prayers. At the same time, you should not think, oh, demigod did not do anything. No, I mean, that should not be the mood. Actually, we should be grateful whatever has happened, and also be more, more dependent, or we should show that yes, you have done this, and furthermore is required. That like that, we should show our gratitude. I mean, if you don't show that gratitude, maybe the demigod will get offended. So we should not do that. Yeah,
Yes,
that should not
Prabhu.
be the mood. Yeah, it is whatever has happened. It's okay, fine. But you can now pray. You can, at least in the present, you can pray. You can offer your prayers, and then even it could be to Ayappa, or it could be Ganesh, whoever it is, and tell them to relieve you from this misery, or this condition, or this depressing thoughts. So he will remove it definitely, because they also have the powers. Of course, they are all in the material world, the material energy, the recipients of material energy. But the ultimate prayer should be to Krishna, so that we can get the the highest mercy, the highest perfection. We can do it by offering it to the Supreme Lord itself. Even if you're offering to the demigods, there is no harm, whatever you do, but keep it to a very minimum extent, limited extent, and spend more on Krishna consciousness. So that way, and also when you're offering to the demigods in a limited way, when you're doing it, there is no harm. But again, request them that they give you Krishna Bhakti. That's it.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, because we have to be one pointed, no, Prabhuji, like
Yeah,
Vyavasayatmika.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Only because of that, I'm not taking any shelter.
No,
Hare
no,
Krishna, no, Prabhuji.
should rely on the
Not
holy
like
name
that.
first, on the Supreme Lord, and do that. That sadhana is important. But if sometimes and some family conditions force you to even do some demigod worship, do it with a good heart and with a good intention. That is important.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Hare
that's
Krishna.
yeah.
Pranam.
Thank you. Thank you.
Barnali Sen Mataji. You can ask Mataji questions.
Thank you,
Hare Krishna.
Mataji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Pranam.
Very nice explanation, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji, you were explaining about sleep in sixth verse. So
Yeah.
you were telling about the cycles, stages. I missed the names, Sanskrit names, Prabhuji. Will you...
Yeah, the Jagriti is the, we are in awake situation.
Jagriti.
Jagriti. Then the Swapna is the dream. We are in between the Jagriti and the Susupti. Susupti is actually the deep sleep. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
In
Susupti.
between is
So,
Sapna.
yeah, Swapna. Swapna is the dream state where we might be going from deep sleep to or awakened stage like that. So Jagrati is Swapna, Susupti, and Turiya. Turiya is the spiritual state. That is what we have to hanker for. We should be beyond the all these materialistic stages. The Turiya is
That
the
is,
spiritual,
yes,
spiritual
Prabhu.
state. Yeah.
Spiritual sense. Turiyananda, Turiya. Yes,
Turiya.
Prabhuji, I heard the word. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Wonderful class.
Yes. Correct.
Dhanavad pranams.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Subbarao Prabhu, you have any question, Prabhuji? No, Prabhuji, that was for reading. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the wonderful session and for the
Hare
always
Krishna.
we look for the stories, Prabhuji, in your class. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank
Hare
you. Thank you.
Krishna. Hare Krishna. Prabhu, I have a small question. Just now you
Yes.
said, Prabhu, that if you are going to any demigods or maybe devatas temples, you should recite the prayers related
Yes.
to that particular devata. But
Yeah.
Prabhu, if someone doesn't know any prayer, then
Hmm.
what he or she should do? Like just pray that my bhakti in Krishna or my life in my path in Krishna consciousness should be smooth and I should progress in that, or how we should and what we should think and pray, Prabhu.
Yeah. See, as you understand, any of the demigods whom you are going to pray, they are all going to give you only material solutions. They are only going to give you material benedictions. They cannot offer you anything on the spiritual because they themselves are in this material platform, right? They're all governing in the material universe. So, but they, of course, you can pray to them that you give me the spiritual strength, you give me the spiritual, and what to speak of that, give me Krishna Bhakti. So that will be one of the best benedictions, and the demigods will be actually be so happy if a devotee asks, because the demigods also know that how many hundred times he comes with hundreds of lists, all the time trying to give, but he's still not happy. So demigods are actually disgruntled by the way if you act in that material platform. But the moment you say that I want Krishna Bhakti, I want a spiritual body, I want a spiritual association, they'll be happy and immediately they will give you the sanction. They immediately will guide you that you please do this and go to ISKCON, go to Prabhupada, surrender to Prabhupada. Like that, they will say. Directly they will say, and that is how, see, most of us, we are all actually demigod worshippers. In ISKCON also, if you see each person's history, I was a Ganesha worshipper. I always, because whatever I used to go and pray to Ganesha, he used to sanction. I used to go and break 108 coconuts in Bangalore. We have a temple in Malaysia. That was about 30 years back. And when I used to see the clouds, I used to see only Ganesha form. The cloud, in the clouds also I was seeing Ganesha. Like that, it was.
Haribol. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
We should always pray that these demigods give this mercy. They will give it because ultimately they are also looking for serving Krishna, the Supreme Lord. But because of their assigned duties, they actually cannot do that. They're always hankering that I should get I should do Krishna Seva, Krishna Bhakti, but they are actually deprived of it. But heart in heart, they know that one final day will come and I will get Krishna Bhakti. So this is the understanding. So if suppose you're not offering in prayer or nothing, that's it. I mean, demigods also will be not reciprocating. They may not be any benefit. But at least you offer, so that you don't disrespect the demigod. You should offer some prayers even for the demigods, so that they are pleased. Once they are pleased, they actually understand our feelings, our emotions, or our moods, and they will guide us also definitely.
So in our own language, Prabhu, we can just ask them to engage
Yes.
in Krishna's service.
Yes.
If we do not know any
Correct.
prayers from Shastras.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, that's what even Chaitanya Prabhu, when he used to visit so many temples in South India and all that, lot of demigod worshippers, lot of demigods were there. He was just, you're showing that by example that you give me Krishna Bhakti. Just give me Krishna Bhakti. Give me Krishna Bhakti. That's it.
Hari Bol. Thank you so much. Yeah,
Yes,
Subha
yes.
Mataji, you can end the session. Subha Mataji, are you there?
Hare Krishna. I'm sorry, Mataji. I didn't know that I
No,
said
it's
that.
perfectly all right. No, Mataji, please.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Pranams. What,
Yeah.
Prabhuji, we will end with the prayer, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnav ki jai. Mantra Shrimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Prabhuji, all glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the wonderful discussion.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you all Matajis and Prabhujis. Thank you, Narayani Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Thanks. I'll end the session. Yeah, thank you.